This is good or bad effect on the experience of the student. I don't want to speak. My work has to be completed in the company, and whatever way I tell you to do, you have to do. That's all. So without a reason I cannot do. Without a reason you cannot do. But in industry you don't have authority to ask a reason. Remember that. Okay? Therefore, you should always be I'd say analytical by your nature. When a problem is given to you, if analysis is told, it's okay. It's not told, you analyze and you understand. That's it. That is one sense you have to develop. This column is now definite that it will never carry any null values. Now I am just going with SAMP name. I am saying varchar 2 of 10. Then I am going once again with constraint, and I am calling my constraint name underscore NN, and I am saying not null. Then I am just keeping my comma. Then I am going with SAMP date, and I am saying date. Every column should have a constraint, is not a rule. So if everything went very well, my table has to be created. Today we created one table where we defined the rule of the business to that particular columns, very clearly saying that these columns cannot contain null values. Now when I say describe and I call my table name that is existing with us, then definitely you can just watch why this not null was coming all these days. So the only constraint that is reflected in your describe is not null. Other constraints are never reflected. It never shows you. Be very clear until it manages. Now let us test this particular piece of the table. We are saying insert into. Now we need to go with the table name, and I am saying values. I am giving 1 comma sample 01. Then I am directly going with system. So I think I am following the rule of my particular constraints very properly. So definitely the data is accepted. But you just watch once again. I am now going into this and I am saying this is null. Explicitly I am trying to give the null. It is either explicit or implicit, that doesn't matter. You just watch the reaction minus 1400. Immediately is an error number. Cannot insert null. So it's not my table is not allowing the process of these nulls to get in or not. And universally you take any Oracle product, in all the Oracle products universally, whenever a not null constraint is violated, you will get minus 1400 as an error number. That's how people who are keeping experience, how many error numbers and situations you remember until now. You are definitely questioned for error numbers at some stages. Be very, very clear about it. Because Oracle's error numbers are standardized. They are absolutely standardized, and on standardization they will be working. So, look into the process as quick as possible. And second thing you just want, it is very clearly saying that in the user called as score, in the table called as sample NN01, on the column called as sample ID, this violation has taken place. So Oracle is not allowing this record because it's against the rule of the system. Now the same way you just watch, we are trying to give the data for this particular null with a value of 2, and here I am trying to specify that this is a null. Now I think we are having rule on this also. So Oracle cross verifies rule wherever you declared it. The same error number you can just watch once again. Then we are working on the constraint and we are trying to move on with the specification. I am going with my null on both the columns. I am violating both the columns with the same constraint violation or not? Yes. But remember one thing, Oracle never presents multiple errors at a time. Wherever it feels that the first level of the priority of error has come, to that it will reflect, but the error number will be same. The Oracle never tells you 2 times, saying that you are violating sample ID or violating sample name. Where it feels that it is the first level priority, it will show you there and it will stop. Therefore, when you are violating multiple constraints, Oracle will never tell you about all the constraints. Whichever constraint it feels is the highest priority, there it will stop immediately. And let us just watch it for the last time. We are giving this particular data now where we are just specifying that it is 2, then we are saying sample 02, and then I am going with my sysname. So technically you watch now, it's moving on. Now I am just going for the constraint. We are going with the value of 3, and I am saying this is a value of 3, and I am keeping this as null. Did we declare any not null on sample statement? No. So where you did not declare the constraint, there definitely it will do its own natural job. So I hope you are catching what is exactly a not null constructive mechanisms. Now let us just talk about the unique constraint. Unique constraint, if you are conceptually catching properly, then only you will enhance yourself easily to primary key. Primary key is only a small extension to the unique's limitations. There are few limitations in unique. To the limitations what unique is having, primary key is only an extension of it. Therefore, if you don't catch the limitations to the unique properly, then primary key definitely will take some extra time for you unnecessarily. All constraints you can close along with me parallelly even. But the only thing is you are concentrating to the process what I am speaking on now. So when you come to the unique constraint designates a column as a unique key. Now here, this key is a keyword that you should always think very properly, else you will get confused. So what actually it means is, according to the theory of RDBMS, I am making my point very clear. According to the theory of RDBMS, we have only unique constraint. We don't have primary key. Primary key is a practicality of the RDBMS. When you come to the softwares, you have primary key. Therefore, according to the theory, every column that is having unique identification is a key column. But one table cannot have multiple number of key columns for unique identification of the record. Therefore, when we come to the record level identification, you are considering which column as the most highest priority column for record uniqueness. So whichever column you set that, this is the column for record level uniqueness in my particular project, that column will be confirmed as primary key, and remaining will continue as what? Uniques as it is. The remaining columns that are continuing with uniques as it is are called as alternate keys. Therefore, every column that is having unique state is always what? Key state. But in that which is the most highly demanded, highly identified, that is considered as what? Primary key. The limitations of unique are nothing but extensions to primary keys. Must understand this. Now, whenever you are dealing with uniqueness, uniqueness can be to a single column, uniqueness can be to a combination of columns also. So when your uniqueness is going with a combination, we call that as composite state. Therefore, a table can come when you are dealing with the composition of uniques or anything like this. You just watch here. I am having one table A, where I am having column A1, I am having column A2, I am having column A3, and I am having column A4. Now in this table, with the great analysis, I came to one conclusion that this is the column which contains uniqueness. How many columns I have in this table?
4 columns.
In that, how many I confirm that they are of unique state? 1. So I don't have any controversy here with any other column with uniqueness. So I can directly say that this column is the key column of my table. Means I can indirectly say that I can treat this column like a primary key of this particular. But every column that is unique is not suitable for primary key. Yesterday we have already seen when we are dealing with email ID. Key and primary key have some differences, be very clear about them. But any column that is unique by nature is considered as what? Key. Why? Actually, this key is one keyword you always use somewhere in your data structures. Can you just tell me where you will use this key as a keyword in your data structures? In which situation? In which situation you will use your data structures? All those academic graduates from computer sciences. Okay, hashing. Any other areas? Hashing is a principle. Okay, I'm asking a process. One area. Generally, when you come in, you fix that as a key, and then you will start working. When you are working with what? Sorting or searching? Sorting or searching? Searching. Okay? So when we deal with the construct of searching, we always try to call the value what we want to search as what? Key. So when you come to sorting, especially when you are dealing with the sorting with respect to quick sort, we try to fix a key first. Yes or no? We try to fix a key first. And relevant to that particular key, what we will do now? We will make a relative of shifting that particular piece of the data. So key actually came from data structures. We feel that it's coming from RDBMS actually. So according to the consciousness of the data structures, key means what? Key means what? A specific value on which we are concentrating for conducting the operation of a search or sort. So every column that is unique is considered as a key because that column is best suitable for searching the data for your records you want to find in the table. Are you catching the point now? And these key columns are also called with another name in data structures. Another name is there for these key columns. When you want to search any data in an array, we always search the data with the help of what?
Index.
Index. Yes or no? So the search is tagged with what? In arrays, the search is always tagged with what? Index. The index is what for us? So for any value you want to search, if it is to be treated as a key, first you should confirm that it is an index for that particular search. So when you declare a unique, what is happening is Oracle creates one index automatically on that column, understanding that this column is looking suitable for search of my records in future. Now all this process in more detail to data structures we can discuss. That's how I can say only unique constraint, seriously if we start speaking, it can be discussed for more than 3 to 4 sessions. In this particular market, there is no such amount of time given to the faculty because the whole course, there are cases where a student expects the whole Oracle should be completed in 4 days only. So where is the chance to discuss some issues? No. Therefore, why we call that as a key, that rule comes from data structures, no, not from RDBMS. Try to understand this. So, any column that is declared as unique in your table, that column is best suitable with the search of the value from that column to find a record very easily in my table. Therefore, it becomes a key column. It becomes a key column. But this column may not be the most primary column for every search what I conduct in my table, for every relation what I execute in my table. Therefore, out of multiple number of columns that are key in my table, which column I am finalizing as the most primary of my concentration for search or any business operation, that I will make it primary. So, these are all decisions taken by analysis, not by syntax. First understand this. In this table, I am having 4 columns and I am having only 1 column finalized as a unique. Therefore, definitely, to relevant to this particular column, if I am trying to speak, I can confirm from my side that I will say that this is the most primary key of my choice. But will I declare this as a primary key or not? Only further level analysis will say. But at this level, I can't take any blind decisions like that. So, is there any controversy in this particular table with the concept of key status? no controversy. Why? Only one column is unique. So that is a key finally for me, for anything. But let us understand one more thing now. I am having table B. And I am going with column B1. I am having column B2. I am having column B3. And I am having column B4. Okay? Now in this table what happened is, I am having this column identified as unique. Then I am having another column, what you can see here is also identified as unique now. In this table totally how many columns are there?
Four columns.
Four columns are there. Now in this, how many columns are finalized as unique now?
Two columns.
Which is the key column?
We can't see.
Both are keys. But which is the most primary column per key?
Depends.
We can't say. We can't say. Why? Because with analysis only we can finalize which is done. Therefore, first column is primary key, second is unique is wrong. By position you should not decide that. So here both the columns are having the status to become what? A primary key. Now, if suppose you say the first column is primary key, then my question comes with why not the second column? You should give clear explanation in detailing to system analysis and design under what circumstances this column was not looking suitable to become a primary key. You cannot blindly say, no, I decided, therefore it's final now. Projects will never happen like that in the industrial standards. Therefore, for everything you take, see, that's what I say, declaring constraint will never fail. I can always promise you. But how many times you can analyze, explain the constraint, the reasons why it was picked up like that. That is where 8 students will definitely fail. And I don't say they lose their job, but they could have lost the best position in the industry if they could have taken that job. With explanation of the concept as a process. Therefore, within the industry, at which level you said, that level is decided by your conceptual intelligence but not by your subject intelligence. Be very, very clear about this. Therefore, constraint you are taking it as a subject, constraint you take it as a concept, both are in your hands, it's not in my hands. But as far as me is concerned, I cannot go deep into the concept because we have a signed contract on the subject very seriously, not on the concept very heavily. Because the time what we are spending for the duration of the course is well known to you and me. So conceptually if we have to go, you have to come the way I have to take you into the process now. Therefore, in this table, if I say this is a primary key, my immediate controversial question is why not this? Therefore, there is some ambiguity in this now. This ambiguity is totally cleared by whom? This ambiguity is totally cleared by whom? The analysts, the system architects. They will make this ambiguity to be closed. Therefore, in your projects, if your senior said, this is a primary key, it is a primary key. You cannot question your senior, sir, why not this now? He says, when you come to my level, you'll understand, and till then what I say, you do, that's all. And your next immediate question can be like, sir, when I come to your level now, try to understand that. No senior will tell you when what he's trying to do in his chambers. Why? Because, why I like somebody to sit in my chair? No. I always want to sit in my boss chair, but I don't want any of the person working under me to become boss immediately. Human being's tendency, remember that, okay? So, sir, how to become a boss? Think about it. Sir, how to be a worker? You're already done. So, for that there is no very special formula now. To become a boss, you need to know how to think very properly in the system. Therefore, declarations are not important, nor the constructive concepts and definitions are important. It is you. From this chapter we have to come up very conceptual, I'm telling you. Else, you will never know the amount of loss you can have in your career. So, there are some standards that make a primary key to come. But one thing I can say, the limitations of understanding the unique will tell us where primary key can be applied, that's it. So we'll look into the application side, not the conceptual side more seriously. If we go into that, we need a separate kind of process called as system analysis and modeling with design, development and prototyping and all such kind of things. There's a different aspect of the process. Now here, I'm having two uniques individually or together? Individually. Are you catching the point now? Independently, individually they will work. Now coming to the composition of table C. I'm having one table C. Now here, I'm going with table column C1. I'm saying column C2, column C3, column C4. Now watch carefully, these two columns, together they are unique. Now here you should not say two uniques. Be very careful. Therefore, unique individually, unique with combination. A very great difference, you should understand this. So unique can be in combination. So how many? It depends on your requirement. Up to the maximum of 32 columns can be there in combination. So this is considered as composite state. So this kind of unique declaration is called as composite unique. And here you should be very, very clear. Whenever unique is questioned on this situation, unique is questioned in combination of the situation. It's not questioned in individual columns. There was great amount of difference between this attitude to this attitude immediately. So you should always remember the point what I am trying to say. A composite unique key designates a combination of columns as unique key. And a composite unique, whenever it is coming, it has to be declared only at table level. This should be only at table level. And one more thumb rule I am making it very clear. Unique is which kind of cardinality?
1 to 1.
Unique is which kind of cardinality?
1 to 1.
1 to 1. Yes or no? When you come to the unique in combination, it is by default many to many. So, converting that many to many to 1 to many or 1 to 1 is our job once again. It's not only here, wherever your constraint becomes composite by nature, your constraint is definitely in many to many relationship. So, rule of the RDBMS in flow of the normalization starts very seriously in these areas. Nothing is happening just like that, everything is happening on the rule of the formal RDBMS dictated and defined absolutely with respect to the standard and strategy of the system management using normalization. Therefore, what is a composite is something you have experienced very seriously when you are moving on. And we can have another table, let us say, once again I am taking it, I am saying table D. Now in this table D, we are having column D1, I am having column D2, I am having column D3, I am having column D4, where this is individually unique by nature, and maybe I can have these two columns in combination with unique in composite state. Therefore, the same table can have a column with uniqueness individually and with composite states also. In this case, sir, which is a key status primarily, we can't say. Therefore, in unique constraint, we have a confusion. What is a confusion?
Which?
If only a single column in the table is a unique, no confusion. But when multiple columns are coming with uniqueness, which takes the priority of the primary key status. That's the reason a design given by the logical modeler can definitely change when it is converted into the physical model by the database administrator. The logical ER diagram to physical ER diagram, there can be a difference, be careful. The reason a physical modeler, when he's giving the system to the programmer has no authority to ask anything of the physical modeler. That difference definitely industry maintains. Be very clear about that. Therefore, sir, my nature is I will question and then only I will work. Now what I say is stop that, because in current industry you don't have anybody who will sit beside you and explain the reasons why you should do it. You should be self-analytical by nature. Sir, how it is possible? From the classrooms, how seriously you are concentrating, that's it. That's why I said, you are learning one skill called as SQL. Above this, what more skills you have? The skills, either you should develop them independently or you should definitely attend to the additional or extra sessions wherever they are being conducted and become packed to the industrial requirements. That is your basic job. So, when we come to the process, unique key made up of single column can always contain null values. Unique never rejects any nulls until you do not separately say that. And once one unique constraint is created, Oracle will create index implicitly on the unique key column. So if it is a combination, how many indexes are created? One index in combination. But remember one thing, if a table has 5 unique declarations, 5 indexes are created. So strictly to the rule of data structures once again. I don't know how many heads are sitting in this class with the data structures. You are from any kind of field in your academics, I don't care. But you want a job in IT sector, you should be very clearly thorough with your data structures theory, absolutely. So if I am not having clarity on theory of data structures, what happens? You will definitely get your job after minimum 2 years only. You may not get your job as a fresher state. It's not to scare you, it's a fact I'm speaking with you. So the only subject in my life throughout my engineering or MCA I did not like is data structures. We don't like you definitely. So what you like, what you don't like, nobody cares with. What industry likes, do you like the outcomes? And don't give any kind of reasons like, sir, I was not having a better faculty in my college. Everything is a past story now. You can't take your past and think about your future now. Introspect on the past and build your future, because past has no future in it. So why to speak about it? So try to catch up. We don't listen to all these unwanted silly stories where every student in India will say, sir, my college is not a correct college. Who told you to join? After completing engineering, you came to know about that. You could have definitely taken a break from that college, pleaded the university to make you change to the other one. That facility is there. Who told you to continue? So actually I did not like engineering, you know, then who told you to do it? Who told you to do? Don't give all such reasons now, okay? Corporate sector will never listen to any of your personal reasons. Must understand this. There are few people, they'll come and say, sir, they fail. We find good percentage in their resume. We ask questions, they don't speak. Last, what's happening? When he says suddenly, like, sir, I had a very disturbing environment in my house, you know. Who told you get disturbed? The world is around you with disturbances, man. Who told you to get disturbed? You should keep your concentration on your goal and you have to work. That's all. For the sake of your goal, do you think that the other people will adjust according to you? Don't give all these reasons now, okay? They look very silly and they'll be looking kidding now. So, you have to develop yourself to the process. You are a fresher, you have to follow the system. After 2 years, sir, why it's not an effect? After 2 years, we don't ask you data structures. We ask seriously how you can apply Oracle. Because you want a job in Oracle only. So, how best you can speak on concept that will be an added advantage. Therefore, there are few restrictions. A table or view can have only one unique key column. This is highly misunderstood by students. A table or view can have only one unique key column. There are people who come and say that one table can have only one unique constraint declaration. Sorry. Out of multiple unique constraints you declared, finalize which is the key. That is how he is saying. Finalize which is the primary key status. In that way he is saying that one unique key status. The other are generally what? Alternate key status. Finalize that. And your unique keys cannot be declared to any one of these data types. Why? These are all object-oriented data types. So object-oriented data types cannot pick up the status of the data with uniqueness. See, a very simple concept, how can you compare two pictures and say that they are unique? It's very difficult. See, as much as common sense human being's brain has, so much of common sense computers have never developed until now. If that becomes possible, you don't need to come to your class. The reason is, you can send your humanoid into the class directly. And your humanoid will be listening to the class, and then you can definitely get that directly into your brain. Okay? Brain integrated neural communication systems. World is highly planning this. If this is basically going to happen, you can't even imagine the world. Be very clear about it. I think hacking is a very wonderful field. Yes or no? Everybody will feel like once I should hack any system, definitely. Now your computer systems, in the countries like Australia and Germany, if you go, there's a very special kind of research that's taking place in neural networks. Brain hacking is a next generation process. If brain hacking becomes possible, you can just imagine what will happen now, okay? So gadgets in the process will be designed in such a way that you pick up the gadget and stimulate it, and I stand in front of you. What your brain is thinking, I can definitely know immediately. So you can imagine the life of a human being in upcoming years. You will shiver to stand in front of somebody any time. Why? Because what you're thinking in the brain, he will know. And if he's having the gadget, what you're thinking, he can know definitely. The world of humanoids is very different. Therefore, object orientation standards are very different in their analysis. But every object-oriented application should come and fix into RDBMS once again. Because data storage is always done by RDBMS. There is a very different world than what these classrooms can show you. Because these classrooms are very weak in infrastructure, these classrooms are very weak in the architecture. First understand this. And any time you are declaring a composite unique, the composite unique cannot be more than a combination of 32 columns. The same column or combination of columns at any time cannot be primary key and unique. If you declare the constraint as unique, it cannot be primary key. If you declare it as a primary key, it cannot be unique. So therefore, once you finalize a column as primary key, it becomes a primary key. But primary key internally has a unique status, but you cannot say it's unique. Be very clear. Unique is only on unique. Primary key is something else than that. Now we cannot specify unique when creating any subtables in object-oriented architectures. Only the root tables can contain the uniqueness, but not the subtables. So this is basically a syntax. Create table, table name. You're just trying to call the unique. Even though this kind of unique declaration is accepted, but definitely to the standards it is rejected. You're going with the composition of this once again by saying constraint name, and you're going for unique. This is a very proper way of declaration because you're giving a name of the constraint. Now you just watch here. This is one table what we are having, in which you can just watch. My intention is the promotion ID should not be duplicated. So I am declaring my promotion ID column here, constraint name, unique as a nature. So in this, if any two values are becoming duplicated, Oracle immediately projects on it. Now this is column level syntax or table level syntax?
Column level.
Column level syntax. The same thing we can apply as table level. So if you just watch here, we declared all the columns. Now you just watch properly onto the screen. After the last column we are having what? A comma. That last column with comma shows that you are about to go for some other column or constraints. Now here you can just watch, we are calling the constraint keyword, and then we are trying to work down in the process very clearly by saying constraint name. Then I am calling unique. This is for which column? So I am passing the column name as a parameter. So when you are declaring the constraint at the table level, we pass the column name to the constraint. There's only difference. It is either at the column level or it is at the table level, that doesn't matter. If you ask the standard of industry, we prefer mostly table level. So I generally suggest to students, wherever you can keep a constraint either at table level or column level, practice both the syntaxes. Because in interview room, you can ask you specific syntax because you may be interested in that. Then you are stammering on the process of declaration, it looks very awkward. And second thing, I never ever encourage any of the students to declare a constraint like this. Even if 10 of your friends are doing it, you don't do that. You please see that you are following the constraint name. That will definitely give you at least a quarter mark more than your friend who is attending the interview. So, know how to take the marks from your interviewers. That's very, very important. Many times you are not losing the job. You have done a mistake in such a way that you were forced to lose the job. So you should understand the basic formula behind interview first of all. I am having 10 vacancies, gentlemen. And I called for interview and 100 people came. We started the interview process. In the last round in which we will take a decision of selecting anybody, we have called 20 people. It's the last round and 20 people are there. Finally I need how many? 10 people. Means I am trying to keep a ratio of how much now? 1:2. And I am going on. And interview closed and your name is not there in the panel of the 10. The only thing that could have happened is, after the whole 20 members are completed, I started ranking them now. In the ranking, because of a quarter mark of difference, your name is the 11th name. You lost that particular job, that's it. Means from success to failure, there will be not a great difference. It could be very small piece of difference. Why you will give that particular chance for that small difference? Then in India, generally what people will say is, if suppose interviewer said that, sorry, when you are 11th rank in the shortlisting, if you are 10th people have got the job, then they immediately say, my luck did not favor me. Where is that? Nothing. Your negligence has made you lose the job. That's it. Your negligence. Therefore, when you are attending any interview, your only mindset should be, I will not do a mistake by any single point that is available to me. Therefore, giving this name along with the constraint keyword could be definitely an advantage to catch that watermark for you maybe. Therefore, what I say is, what the book says, let the book say. Follow the book, but follow the state of the industry also, that's a better way. So how to declare a constraint, I just don't want to force it on the process. In both these cases, one index has been created. Be very clear about that. And whenever you are dealing with the constraints, you just watch this case. In this case, we are having a unique constraint. Now, unique constraint having how many columns? 2 columns. This is called as composite unique constraint. So in this table, how many unique constraints are there? Only one. Because it is having 2 columns, don't say 2 unique constraints are there. It is together one single unique constraint. Because it is composite by nature, it is definitely expected to be at which level? Table level. It should be at table level. So try to understand these factors very clearly. Now when I am going with my executions, you should catch the remaining differences. So the next 15 minutes you are very serious in concentrating and listening to the issues now. I am saying create table sample UNQ 01. We are going with SAMP ID number of 2. Then I am saying constraint. I am calling my constraint name. Then I am saying SAMP ID underscore UNQ unique. That's a column level declaration what we are trying to do. And I don't want to mix up two constraints at any time. Okay, first let us complete individually. When I am concluding my constraints, I will show you how all the constraints together can be declared. And we can make a table look like an entity. Are you catching the point now? Now I am just going with my SAMP name. Then I am going with varchar 2 of 10. Then I am just going with SAMP date. And we are saying date. So in this table, there are 3 columns and only one unique constraint is declared. So definitely I can say this is a key status. Because there is no controversy for me now. But understand the behaviors now. I am saying insert into, we are calling the name of the constraints, the name of the table, and I am saying values 1 comma sample 01 comma sys. Am I following the rule or not? Yes. So I don't think we have any trouble there. Now let us just watch with the issue. I am repeating the same value called as 1 here. But this column is in which state already? Unique state. So immediately my oracle starts reacting with -1 unique constraint violated. Whenever you violate the uniqueness of the data, it is -1. And it definitely tells you the name of the constraint there. If you write that name in a proper way, what is the advantage now? By looking into the name, you will get clarity in your project, in which table, to which column, what type of constraint is paid. That's the only reason. Follow the naming conventions very properly. So they will help you how you need to go with them. Now, technically what I just want to say is, whenever you are failing with the process, it can pick up this process of a duplication even in million records within fraction of seconds. You don't need to worry more.